What's happening around the world and what's happening here at home? A very good evening to you. This is Weekend Primetime News and I'm Sandro Ferdinando. Before we get into our stories in detail, let's take a quick look at your headlines.
Oil contaminates the Nilvala River. Supply of water to the south disrupted. 2-year-old in critical condition after being given the wrong medicine. Politicians comment on the constitution.
නිකන් නාමිකව පාර්ලිමේන්තු මන්ත්‍රීවරු බවට පත් කළා තමුන් වාසලේම ගැන බලන්න මේ බය වෙන්න එපා
ළඟදීම තටුත් හැලෙනවා අඬුත් ගැලවේ.
Another large blue gemstone discovered from Al-Hara.
The supply of water to many areas in the southern province faces disruption after it was reported that the Nilvala River had been contaminated with diesel.
Diesel started to leak from a petrol station in Akurasa bordering the Nilvala River this morning. The supply of water to our houses have been disrupted. How are we to send our children to school? How are we to get to work? We utilize the water we obtain from the Nilvala River. We have no other alternative. The leak has been rectified. However, the layer of oil that contaminated the Nilvala River is yet to be removed. According to Jayantha Pathurana, the Deputy General Manager of the Southern Province Water Supply and Drainage Board, the river water had been tested by the Department of Coast Conservation and the Disaster Management Centre. At present, the operations at the Balakavala, Kaduwa and Nadugala water pumping stations have been suspended. The Mathura branch of the National Water Supply and Drainage Board said that the operations of the Malimbada and Nadugala water treatment plants have been suspended. We are now removing the oil at pace. However, this will take some time. We do have a stock of buffer water in our tanks. We will be providing this water to hospitals and hotels. We will also be taking measures to provide water to the public with the use of water bowsers. The National Water Supply and Drainage Board says that after the existing water is distributed, there will be disruptions to the water supply. Disruptions are experienced in the Mathura town, Dondrohead, Kotegoda, Tikvala, Kakanadura, Kudavala and many other areas.
Villagers from the area known as the Horombua 14th Mile Post in Mondragala continue to charge that the Department of Wildlife is yet to take action to put a stop to the persisting threat of wild elephants. These locals have been facing this threat for the past 6 days. A Newsfirst team visited the area today to understand the gravity of this situation.
Yesterday could be termed as the 6th night that these locals from Horombua spent with fear of a wild elephant attack. These locals saved themselves by simply sacrificing their farmlands and cultivation on which they spent colossal amounts of sweat and tears. 3 acres of banana cultivation and 250 coconut trees were destroyed by wild elephants who come from the Horombua Degal Aramba Forest Reserve.
This is the electric fence that separates the village from the forest reserve. The villagers believe that with this fence being set up, wild elephants would not encroach on their village. Were elephants actually fooled by this? When one touches this, he should be electrocuted. It did not happen to me. This may have fooled the villagers, but has not fooled the elephants. Due to this reason, wild elephants stormed into the village in the recent past. This eventually caused a human-elephant conflict. When we came here, we witnessed another reason for the escalating human-elephant conflict, that is the activity taking place within the forest reserve. We are attempting to enter the forest reserve and gather evidence for this claim.
₹9 million has been spent on the construction of an elephant fence to prevent elephant attacks. However, the electricity supply is yet to be provided for this fence to function. Although the department attempts to fool the elephants with just placing the fence, elephants know to be intelligent and destroy the fence and storm into the villages and plantations.
When we moved 4 kilometers into the forest reserve, we noticed that the plains in which the elephants roam in have been destroyed by grazing cattle. After the cattle graze on these grounds, the elephants are left with nothing to eat. Human activity is also taking place within the forest reserve.
According to the Fauna and Flora Protection Ordinance of Sri Lanka, no person shall lead or allow any domestic animal to stray in any national reserve. However, the breach of this legislation was captured on Newsfirst cameras. One notable fact is the study of national parks in Sri Lanka is that when domestic animals such as cattle are moved into a national park, wild elephants in the park are sluggish to remain in the national park. Wild elephants often do not prefer to eat from big trees and however are keen to eat grass. When cattle are moved into the national park, the grazing grounds are taken by the cattle and thereby forces the wild elephants to resort to alternate food sources. The villagers of the Horombo 14th mile post are facing the consequences of moving cattle into a forest reserve.
There is evidence that the cattle were held at this location even last night. The cow dung here is fresh. It is not possible to clearly locate the herd of cattle inside the forest reserve. They have been moved to different locations to graze. According to what we have heard, there are 6 such pens in the forest reserve that accommodate around 300 animals. If you take it as a whole, there are around 700 such animals in these woods.
මුළු සමස්ත ගව පට්ටි සියල්ලම ගවයින් ප්‍රමාණය බැලුවොත් එම ගවයින් 700ක් පමණ සිටින බව තමයි අපිට දැනගන්නට ලැබෙන්නේ.
As wildlife officials continue to neglect the complaints filed by these locals for the past 6 days, they turn a blind eye to many illegal facts such as completely violating the Fauna and Flora Protection Ordinance of Sri Lanka.
මම හිතන්නේ පහුගිය දවස්වල සිරස මාධ්‍යයේ මම හිතන්නේ අහුවෙන්නේ නැත්තේ මම හිතන්නේ වැට සම්පූර්ණ කරලා නැති.
I think the Sirsa media may have gone there at a time when the fence is under construction. At present, construction of the entire fence is complete. If there are shortcomings in providing electricity, those matters will be addressed. I have instructed the officials to act on this.
Locals lament that temporary solutions to this issue simply causes more fear among them.
At
several places, you witness roads being made inside the forest reserve. If this situation continues, it will be deemed impossible to put a stop to the human-elephant conflict in this area, even with the construction of an electric fence. It is clear that forests need to be protected in order to provide a permanent answer to these issues.
Many areas experienced wild elephant attacks this year. Many villagers from Galgamur step onto the streets demanding a solution to this issue. 6 wild elephants completely destroy a maize cultivation in Vandurassa, Shravastipura, Anuradhapura. 23-year-old killed in a wild elephant attack in Galgamur, Habarana. Ten acres of paddy land in Kalahagala, Polonnaru were destroyed by wild elephants. Wild elephants destroy a paddy land in Madagama, Kurunagala. Yesterday, wild elephants destroyed 2 acres of paddy land in Ahatuava. When will a solution be provided for the human-elephant conflict experienced across the country?
It has been reported that a 2-year-old is in critical condition after a wrong prescription was given from a rural hospital in Kapugol-Lava, Horopatana. A mother from the Vulvava Kapugol-Lava had taken a child to the village hospital for medication for the common cold.
2 types of medicine were given. When the 2 pills were given and when the tonic was poured into the child's mouth, he said that it was burning inside. We took the child to the hospital with the medicine once again. They said that the medicine is expired and that there was nothing to be afraid of. They told me to admit the child and that he will be discharged by evening.
The medicine has been issued by the dispensary of the Kapugol-Lava Rural Hospital. This is clearly a result of being careless. Even the doctors accepted that the wrong medicine has been issued. The said child is currently receiving treatment at the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital. When we asked the mother, she has told that when the child was brought in for medication, instead of Panadol, they had issued a medicine containing methyl salicylate. They brought in the medicine as well. The child has been admitted with a slight condition of vomiting. The doctor at the Kapugol-Lava Rural Hospital who issued the medicine stated that she has informed the matter to the director of the Divisional Health Services. The North Central Provincial Council too has launched an investigation regarding the matter. Provincial Minister of Health K.H. Nandasena stated that the pharmacist has issued the wrong medicine. The police too has commenced an investigation into the matter. Yesterday, we brought you details of Alihata located in Udamalibanda, Deraniyagala, and how human intervention in the area has affected two waterfalls. Tonight, we bring you even more details from the area on how private hydropower projects are affecting even more ecosystems in the area. News First, Ramesh Irugal filed this report.
This is not the only waterfall that has dried up in the Daraniagal area due to the construction of private hydropower plants. During our journey to Alihata, area residents informed us of even more damages caused to natural habitats in the area. And so, we accompanied them to several other locations as well. Around 15 years ago, this area was home to the Puakmalalla waterfall. However, the construction of yet another private hydropower project made sure that this once picturesque waterfall ended up in this manner today. Area residents informed us that a total of 8 mini hydropower projects have been built in the area, destroying the natural beauty of Puakmalalla as well as Minuangalla and Ellapitalla. While noting that this has adversely affected their day-to-day lives, the area residents also noted that the owners of these mini power projects made several promises which are yet to be fulfilled.
They blocked off the water to Puakmalalla, and as a result there is no longer a waterfall. We have received word that they are planning to build another waterfall. If this happens, we won't have anything to even show our children.
Earlier, many tourists came here to enjoy themselves. Now even we can't go there. Minuangalla was a beautiful waterfall and a beautiful village. Now it is no longer a waterfall.
Officials should step in to ensure that these waterfalls are protected and also to ensure that these projects do not destroy nature.
Environmentalists charge that such constructions in the Samanal Adaviya Nature Reserve could have irreversible repercussions.
This area has been identified as a UNESCO World Heritage Site. There are 2 natural World Heritage Sites in Sri Lanka. One is the Sinharaja Reserve, while the other is the Central Hills belonging to the Samanal Adaviya Nature Reserve. The Samanal Adaviya is home to several species that are endemic to this ecosystem. Constructions of this nature taking place in the Samanal Adaviya has opened it up to invasive plants that could completely destroy the delicate balance of this ecosystem. This area has been identified as a highly sensitive area under the Soil Conservation Act. The construction of these power plants could have a very direct impact on the water sources of this nature reserve.
According to the Central Environmental Authority, over 200 permits have been issued to construct private hydropower plants. However, its chairman noted that no permits have been issued in the recent past.
Areas similar to this could help Sri Lanka boost its image in the tourism sector. Now, how pertinent is it to allow constructions of this nature to take place in areas such as this? It is time that the officials open their eyes and had a good look at this issue. For News First, I'm Ramesh Irugal Bandara, reporting from Malimbada.
Hugo Swire, the UK Minister of State at the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, who is on an official visit to Sri Lanka, addressed the media in Colombo today.
At Westminster House, packed with reporters, Hugo Swire commented on a number of points, including Sri Lanka's human rights.
The Human Rights Council will look at the progress made by Sri Lanka in its June session, and it will be important for Sri Lanka to demonstrate significant and credible progress by then. Is it the UK's determination to support Sri Lanka with the commitments it made in Geneva? The UK currently provides assistance in a number of areas to support reconciliation and human rights, and as Prime Minister David Cameron recently announced, this support will continue with a further £6.6 million of funding over the next 3 years.
The State Minister also spoke on the regaining of the GSP Plus concession for Sri Lanka.
Britain was extremely supportive of Sri Lanka regaining its GSP status to reinstate fish exports to the EU and fill a couple of more criteria. And we will work with Sri Lanka if we can be of assistance to speed that up. these are achievable objectives.
Hugo Sua also commented on the proposed constitutional reforms in Sri Lanka.
We are ready to assist Sri Lanka and the government in any way we can, and if there are areas from legislation on prevention of terrorism, and of course we've had our own debates and legislation in the UK on this, if there's anything we can help, we will of course do that. And that's right across the board. What I have seen and welcome is the fact that the government have decided to turn the whole House of Parliament into a committee, a parliamentary committee for the Constitution, and that will give everyone the ability to have their say. I think it's important that all stakeholders are consulted in these constitutional changes.
The committee to seek public opinion on constitutional reforms will commence its operation in Colombo starting from Monday. The committee will conclude seeking public opinion on the 20th of January. The general public can present their opinion on constitutional reforms to the committee located at the Secretariat in Visumpaya at Colombo 2. The Department of Government Information says the committee will accept public opinion from 9:30 to 4:30 p.m. daily. Politicians also commented on the constitutional reforms at several events across the island today. They presented the motion to change the constitution. We noted that the amendments need to be done from within the constitutional framework. They tried to make us MPs for name's sake. It has turned out to be not what they hoped for.
පාර්ලිමේන්තු මන්ත්‍රීවරු බවට පත් කළා. දැන් ව්‍යවස්ථාව ගන්න හිතපු දේ නෙවෙයි දැන් අකුලගෙන තියෙන්නේ.
A new constitution is to be created. Do not have any fear. The Sri Lanka Freedom Party will not betray the nation. The SLFP is of the stance that the power of the executive presidency need to be curtailed. We accept the fact that we need constitutional amendments. A new constitution will be created. There is no stance that what is presented must be adopted. Constitutional reforms will take place with the opinion from the 225 MPs. Some say that Buddhism will lose its place and that the country will be divided. We will not allow such decision to be made. Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe is to make a special statement regarding the constitutional reforms tomorrow. Minister Sajith Premadasa says that there is an attempt to prevent constitutional reforms from taking place.
The minister made the comment at a public meeting in the Velavata area in Hambantota.
එක්සත් ජාතික පක්ෂයයි ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයයි එකට එකතු වෙලා
At a time when the United National Party and the Sri Lanka Freedom Party have come together to build a new constitution for the country, there are some that are playing the hand of the international forces and the imperialist. We do not need the assistance of foreigners for the creation of the new constitution. This is the tale by the Gobels of the joint destruction. Do not be deceived by them. When the joint destruction loses its wings, many of them will have to fall at the feet of the government and seek forgiveness for the lies they have said before the nation.
යහපාලන රජයේ කකුල් දෙක ළඟට ඇවිල්ලා
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa joined a political discussion at Variapola today.
A group of councillors and members of the Northwestern Province held a discussion in this manner. Subsequent to the discussion, journalists raised questions regarding the forthcoming local government elections. No. First of all, we do not know whether the local government elections will be held or not. We're all from the SLFP. What is this Mahajana party? This is my electorate.
Minister of Rural Economy P. Harrison says that the forces against the government will take a different face in the future. The minister expressed these views at an event held in Nochiagama today.
All that the Veeravansas did when they were in power was to create havoc. He expressed his affection to Mahinda and are now trying to make birth certificates for those in the SLFP.
Mahinda mahatyata ලව් කර කර ඉඳලා දැන් ශ්‍රී ලංකා නිදහස් පක්ෂයටත් මෙයා උප්පැන්න දෙන්න හදනවා.
Now, according to what is going on, it does not seem that this affection will last for long. On one hand, he is raising allegations that all those who stole and were corrupt have now joined with the current government. On the other hand, he is visiting President Maithripala Sirisena to reach an accord. Therefore, before long, Vimal Weerawansa will fall into the lap of Maithripala Sirisena. He knows that even though they form parties and contest, they do not have a future.
වෙනත් පක්ෂ හදාගෙන ඇවිල්ලා තරඟ කෙරුවයි කියලා ආපහු අනාගතයක් නැති බව එතුමට හොඳට තේරෙනවා.
Have we forgotten? Ocean View Development Company Private Limited claims that a financial irregularity had occurred via the company during the tenure of Vimal Weerawansa when he served as the Minister of Housing. Allegation 1. The company alleges that 14 million rupees was misappropriated for the printing of diaries and calendars without following an acceptable institutional procedure. Allegation 2. The company also alleges that a sum of rupees 71 million had been misappropriated in selling 5 luxury houses constructed by the company in Mattagoda and Kahathuduwa. The company claims that those houses have been given to those relatives of the former minister at a very low estimation. Following the appointment of the new government, the residents of these houses had provided the company with affidavits stating that they are unable to pay rent in terms of real estimation of the value of these houses. Allegation 3. The company alleges that annual wages amounting to more than 6 million rupees was paid to 12 people recruited to the company and that they were in fact carrying out Weerawansa's political activities on a full-time basis.
This is large-scale financial fraud. The FCID is conducting investigations. There is clear evidence against this. Weerawansa is at large. The law cannot be implemented in two ways. A simple public servant is punished for a minor offence. Yet the government has failed to take action against the former minister involved in fraud mounting up to millions. This is not good governance. If you say good governance, please act on that.
Have we forgotten?
Recently, reports surfaced about 2 of the largest gems to have ever been discovered from Sri Lanka. Another large gem discovery was reported today as well.
A businessman from Beruwala who has been in the gem industry for almost 34 years is the proud owner of this colossal blue gemstone.
I obtained this gemstone from a person through another individual who supplies goods in Alhara over a month ago. Afterward, I cut and polished it, and now it is with me.
According to this businessman, a person who has been in the industry for a very long period of time, he has never come across such a big gemstone, let alone heard of one. This gemstone weighs 480 grams.
I frequently visit the Gem and Jewellery Authority. I believe that I must visit the authority and obtain a proper estimate on its value. I have not made a decision on that yet. Statements are being based on the weight of the gemstone, citing that it is the largest ever found and the most valuable. The value depends on a number of aspects, including the size and color of the gemstone, and then we come to the weight and clarity, and finally the status of its final stage. That is how the value of the gemstone is determined. The largest gemstones ever discovered are from Sri Lanka. The gem and jewellery exhibition is drawing closer. I might consider putting this up for exhibition. If the gemstone fetches a good price, I hope to sell it.
And now in sports news, the ICC World 2020 trophy touched down on Sri Lanka shores today for a 3-day stop en route to its global journey spanning 12 countries. The unveiling of the trophy in Sri Lanka took place at the Colombo racecourse amidst the presence of a large number of cricket fans. Minister of Sports Dasi Jayasekara, Sri Lanka cricket head Tilanga Sumatipala, the Sri Lanka men's and women's cricket teams were present for this occasion. And with that, we wrap up news for today. Badu joins again tomorrow with more news. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Sandhu Ferdinando. Do take care and good night.